This episode honestly just confirms something that's been building all season. Nobody in Euphoria is getting a happy ending.
Don't cry, it messes up your makeup.
It's already messed up.
It felt like a warning for everything that's about to come. What makes episode 3 so powerful is that it takes something traditionally symbolic of stability, a wedding, and turns it into a complete collapse of illusion. Everything about Nate and Cassie's wedding is designed to look perfect on the surface. The flowers, the money, the aesthetic, the image. But that perfection isn't just fake, it's fragile. The moment Naz walks in, it shatters instantly.
I think it's a little foolish to throw such a lavish party when you owe so many people money.
The show isn't simply saying that things go wrong, it's making a stronger point. If your life is built on image instead of reality, it will collapse the second reality shows up. Nate's storyline is the clearest embodiment of this theme. All season, he's been trying to position himself as someone who successfully transitioned from high school dominance into real-world power. But what this episode reveals is that Nate didn't actually evolve. He just scaled up the same toxic behaviors. Where he once controlled people, he now tries to control systems like money, business, and reputation. The problem is that he's not actually capable of doing that successfully. When Naz exposes his massive debt, it reframes everything. Nate isn't powerful. He's pretending to be. The wedding becomes the ultimate symbol of this illusion. He spends money he doesn't have, builds an image he can't maintain, and prioritizes appearance over long-term survival. Even the detail about the flowers ties into this as the same issue delaying his construction project, the thing that could have secured his future, is what he wastes money on for the wedding. That's not just irony, it's self-sabotage. When Naz later attacks him, the violence feels symbolic as much as it is physical. Nate's identity is collapsing in real time, and the image he built for himself is literally being beaten out of him. Cassie's arc in this episode is arguably even more unsettling because of how subtle it is. At first, she seems like a victim, someone who didn't know about Nate's debt and is now caught in his downfall. But the episode carefully reveals that her reaction isn't really about Nate's safety, it's about what his situation means for her. When the truth comes out, Cassie isn't focused on the danger, she's focused on the loss of the life she thought she was stepping into. She doesn't want to be poor.
Downsize? I do not want to downsize.
By the end of the episode, when everything is clearly falling apart and Nate is being brutally attacked, Cassie is still emotionally fixated on her ruined wedding and her appearance. This shifts how we understand her character.
No!
She's not just someone who wants love, she wants security through status, and she believed Nate could give her that. The line from Naz, "Some women inherit wealth, others inherit debt," feels especially significant because it applies directly to her. Cassie didn't just marry Nate, she married his consequences. She thought she was entering stability, but she's actually become tied to his collapse. The wedding itself functions as a microcosm of the entire show. Every character arrives presenting a curated version of themselves. Cassie as the perfect bride, Nate as the successful man, Jules as independent and thriving, Rue as stable, and Maddie as someone who has moved on. But none of these identities hold up under pressure. As the episode unfolds, each illusion is gradually stripped away. What initially looks like a celebration becomes a stage for exposure, where every character's reality starts to bleed through the image they were trying to maintain. Rue's storyline is particularly dangerous because it's built on a false sense of progress. She genuinely believes she's doing better. She feels respected working with Alamo and thinks she's moving towards something legitimate.
Yeah, I'm trying to work my way up and go legit.
But in reality, she hasn't changed her trajectory. She's just shifted environments. She's still deeply involved in crime, still surrounded by danger, and still making decisions that trap her further. The conflicts unfolding around her, including the poisoning plot and rising gang tensions, make it clear that she isn't escaping risk. She's becoming more embedded in it. The DEA pulling her over at the end serves as a harsh reality check. Rue isn't getting closer to freedom. She's being boxed in from both sides. The criminal world expects loyalty, while law enforcement threatens consequences. There's no safe exit, and the most concerning part is that she doesn't fully recognize how trapped she is yet. Jules' situation is more deceptive because it appears stable on the surface.
I don't know, it sounds sketchy.
Yeah. She has money, independence, and a lifestyle that seems aligned with what she wanted. However, the way she achieved that stability reveals a deeper vulnerability. By becoming a sugar baby and eventually relying on one wealthy client, Jules has built her life on a form of dependency that's disguised as freedom. She's adapting to a system that commodifies her, trading long-term security and emotional authenticity for short-term comfort. In the context of Euphoria, that kind of arrangement is inherently unstable. It suggests that her current situation isn't a resolution. It's a temporary balance that could collapse at any moment. Maddie's role in the episode is quieter, but equally important. She represents the path that appears more grounded and responsible, yet she still isn't fulfilled. While the other characters are actively chasing something, love, status, escape, Maddie is left confronting the absence of what she thought her life would be. The scene of her walking home emphasizes this disconnect. She's not caught in immediate chaos like the others, but she's still dealing with a sense of loss and displacement. Even doing things the right way hasn't led her to happiness. What this episode ultimately reinforces is that there is no clean or perfect path forward for any of these characters. Each one represents a different approach to life after high school. Nate chasing power, Cassie chasing security, Rue chasing escape, Jules chasing independence, and Maddie trying to maintain stability. But every path comes with consequences, and none of them lead to a clear sense of fulfillment or safety. The world they're navigating is fundamentally unstable, and their choices only determine how that instability manifests. This is why the episode feels like such a clear turning point in the season. The first half was about building illusions and presenting progress, while this episode begins the process of tearing those illusions down. From this point forward, the question is no longer whether these characters can succeed. It's what happens when everything they've built starts to collapse. Nate is already spiraling physically and financially. Cassie is beginning to realize the reality of her situation. Rue is being cornered by forces she can't control. Jules is one disruption away from losing her stability, and Maddie is left emotionally disconnected from the future she imagined. What makes the episode especially unsettling is how inevitable everything feels. None of these outcomes are random. Nate's downfall comes from his need for control. Cassie's situation stems from her desire for status. Rue's danger is rooted in her denial, and Jules's instability is built into her compromises. The episode doesn't introduce new problems. It exposes the consequences of the ones that have been building all along. That's why it feels like things are only going to get worse. The show isn't creating chaos for shock value, it's following through on everything it has already set in motion.